Good evening, everybody. I just realised it's my first time in a month to be on the podcast.
That's true. Welcome back.
It's welcome back to 4 weeks. Hello, everybody. It's Monday night. Welcome to the Plastic Crack Podcast, Season 6, Episode 36. And tonight we're going to be discussing the future of wargaming, changes you'd like to see. It's going to be interesting. Before we start,
with a splash, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Before we start, I'm going to apologise in advance for my current pestilential state. I've been unmercifully struck down with what I believe to be COVID, and I'm not feeling great. So I've got a constant cough, and I'm knackered, and I've done no hobby for 3 weeks. But I thought, no, I've not been on the podcast for a while, so it's time to make a return. So I'm going to be hitting the mute button constantly over the next 2 hours. So I know we're going to hear my plague-ridden hacking that my neighbours have had to put up with for the past 2 weeks.
Joy.
Yeah. Some people brought great memories away from CrackCon. I brought away illness and pestilence. Allergic to people. And the more terrifying thing, as I was saying to Don Martin, I've not had a cup of coffee in 2 weeks. I've lost my taste for coffee, and
you're detoxing.
I know, it's horrifying. So I've been drinking tea for 2 weeks. I've got
no wonder you're feeling ill, mate. No coffee.
I know, it's not good. It really isn't good.
Poor old share price of Kenko is fallen through the floor.
I don't drink Kenko.
The only one I can think of off the top of my head. All right, Nescafe.
I drink Nescafe Roastery. That's what I drink. It's a rather nice. They do a strong roast and a light roast, but yeah. Anyway, enough of coffee and illness chat. How are you? How's your week's been?
It's not been too bad. I've got the start of a cough, but it's nowhere near as bad as yours. But no, it's been all right. It's been kind of I don't want to say getting back into the swing of things, because that make it sound like stop. But now I'm excited because there's a few things I'm working towards. But last week was half term, so but at the end of the day, I have to look after children. So yeah,
daddy duties.
Yeah.
I'm doing all right, actually. I have to say it's been, as you say, sort of getting back. I haven't done any gaming since for a while. Club was closed this week, it's just been bizarre. So no gaming, but lots of thinking about gaming. So that's good. But almost as good. And painting and whatnot.
That's what I came away from CrackCon with: loads of inspiration and loads of germs. Unfortunately, germs won out, and the inspiration has been put to a few other things, but I shall get to that in a bit. Don't forget, we are proudly sponsored by the chaps over at Boards and Swords Hobbies. Use the code PCP5 when you're checking out on the web store for an additional 5% off your already discounted order. Big thank you to everyone that's watching on the catch-up. Always appreciate that. Don't forget to like, share, comment, all that stuff. Links to channels down below. Shill.
He's so resigned to it. His illness makes it actually sound a little bit funnier.
I know, it's just I don't know what it is. I don't have the strength anyway, but I just don't have the strength to go through all the shill stuff. Excuse me. Right, before we get on to what we've been up to, let's have a look to see who's joined us tonight. The Mobile Hostel, Lionheart. John Selby here. He's working on it. He's all over the place. 28mm furniture, 20mm Brits, and Battletech Gothic.
Oh my goodness!
My God, that's a veritable smorgasbord of wargaming stuff. Nick Dawson, Carl Burke, the Wet Evening in Saddleworth, Red Steph, Neil Oldham working on some Macedonian successors tonight.
Oh, nice.
The weather report's in. Hello from Mercia, where warm winds throw rain across a withering land. Late Roman archers for Paul tonight. Pat Neal.
I'm very excited by Paul's project to get back to doing some WAB.
Oh yes, that looked really interesting. I'll be following that very, very closely.
I was thumbing through one of the books the other day just on the basis of that.
Pat, how long have you been working Austrians for now? Because it feels like it's forever. That's a very brave.
Yeah, that is so. You start an Austrians project, it never ends. It can't end. There's too many.
It would end for me about 32 seconds into it. All that white. Benjamin's here. Mike Schubert from a warm but windy Western Cape. Mark Riding. David Through. It's Crackcom 4 level rain in Loch Lomond.
Oh my goodness, not that much, surely.
Cup of good old Yorkshire tea and watch the PCP. Did anyone notice that they've changed the tea in the travel lodge? See, when Ken was there, it was Thai Fu, and he was traumatized by it. They've actually changed it to Twinings now. Twinings tea.
Is he? Do you think he'd find that more acceptable, or how does it compare?
Well, no, it's not Yorkshire tea.
I mean, I know it's not Yorkshire tea, but I don't know. I don't know. Rich M. Alan is here. Simon Stokes. It's all about peasants and Milton Keynes for me tonight. Okay. Top post from Jonas. Jonas is painting Games Workshop Men at Arms and listening to Bolt Thrower. Oh yes.
Oh, good choice.
What a combination and a fine choice, sir. Dom, are you down with the musical stylings of Bolt Thrower?
Oh God, yeah, mate. Yeah, I love that one. Lob a Stone. That's my favourite.
The weird thing is they used to be signed to Games Workshop's record label back in the day.
Really?
Yeah, all their album art is old Games Workshop art. Lovely. Martin's here, Shakers and Sprues, Graham's Wargames Vault. Sam is off on his jaunts again. He's now in the Outer Hebrides.
Oh my goodness.
He's working on some winter World War II winter US in my hotel room. Does Sam know that Ken dropped the bollock?
Okay. Oh no, I don't.
No.
Did we bring it up last week? I think we did. I think we might have done. I can't remember. You can say it again.
So, Sam, being the kind-hearted soul that he is, every year at CrackCon, he delivers unto us some really, really pretty strong, horrific lager from his trip to Holland. This year, he bestowed upon us cans of 14% lager, which you were saving for the Christmas episode like we normally do.
Yeah.
Ken drank his.
I don't believe he actually finished it though. I don't either.
No, I don't.
Think
I don't.
He bitched out after like 2 sips.
I mean, he's a man that drinks Baileys usually, so there's no chance he's going to drink that 14% beer. Jesus, no chance.
Wicked.
No.
Lovely stuff. Wargamer of Kent is back to paint an epic pike and shot of the Fizz's British platoon. Greta Priego, hello Anthony, we're doing well. Nathan McGowan paints some Baron's War tonight. Major Clanger is here. Robin, Steve Harbour, bit damp but strangely warm. It is very damp around here at the moment, Steve, but yeah, it is quite warm as well. I don't know what you mean. Dave Benson, Steve Keelan, Slapshot from a very damp and dreary Kent, Washington. Painted 10mm War Games Atlantic Samurai.
Interesting choice.
Krusty Colonel. Gavin Acombe, he's taking a break from lorry driving to undercoat a D&D Beholder for use in Dragon Rampant. That sounds very niche. Andy Stocker painted up some Chaos Marauders, the plebiscite. Mark Bro working on some 28mm jungle terrain. Double dip. The KRFN 75 Eden from a nippy north of Sweden. Okay.
Well, welcome. I bet it is nippy up there as well.
I bet it is very, very, very nippy. Mike Blake, David Thu. Don't forget the turnips. Warbase is in. Hello, evening off with oddly warm Perthshire. Oh,
oddly warm. There's something afoot. That's all I'm going to say.
Have I been adding tough to my? No, that's. I don't do that anymore. Ewok Kebab is painting. I'm cleaning, prepping some USMC tonight. Semper File. Did we mention the Crokinole last week?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was a very, very addictive game.
Oh, how many times I nearly bought that game? It's ridiculous.
I've been looking at it. I can actually say Dave Brown was very competitive. He was doing all he could to ruin my night. But yeah, very, very. Don't let his calm exterior fool you. He's a very, very competitive Crokinole player. Lynn, Shrink 7, have I considered getting better? I've thought about it. I really wish I could, because it totally sucks, man. It really sucks. I even tried the medicinal spicy stew and whiskey combo at the weekend, which helped it slightly. Hobby Brush, Rob Hobden is here. Kurt from a Windy Willesden. Oh, cheers, Rich. I am. I'm getting better. It's the last week was particularly bad. Scurvy Joe, Chain of Command, working on Wargames Atlantic stuff for Conflict 47. Good stuff.
Nice.
Jack Todd. Dom Symes is working on Barrymore Sergeant with an overdose of kit bashing. It's on a mix of peasants with villager and guard parts. Ben Larry, hello from Tennessee. Hello. Pat, it feels like forever, but in reality about 6 months. Yeah, I bet time goes at a different pace when you're painting stuff like that. Anyway. Valley Boy NZ, morning from a sunny New Zealand. Old school FRP. Tommy B is still turning out armor for Kursk.
There was a lot of armor at Kursk, so you got to keep going.
There was a lot.
Yes. Sam is sad and disappointed at Ken's.
Yeah. We're very sad and disappointed about Ken normally, Sam. So,
I don't understand though. I mean, if you just fancy like a midweek beer or something, it's got 14 in massive, great big font.
I know, what would possess the man?
It's not like it says.
If he was a regular beer drinker, I might think it, but it's like you've got to be desperate for a drink to go rooting around your cupboard and think, "Oh yeah, I'll drink that now," wouldn't you?
I know. I mean, it's a gold can with a massive 14% stamped on the side of it. It's not hiding in plain sight. It's
no. Not at all.
Sorry for flicking your. Yeah, Ed, you were like a sniper. Anytime my pucks went anywhere, it was like laser guided, and they were flying off. It was a bit mad. Great game though. Like I said, very, very addictive. I mean, I can see
very much
hours of practice going on there. Moray Heresy, painting Krieg infantry for a 30k event later in the month. Oh, it sounds really pretty interesting.
I'll be back in 2 seconds. I think I hear a child moving around and Haley's out, so I'll be back in a second.
Volgan's here, and we're at the bottom. So, excuse me, I'll be a second.
Oh dear, poor old Steve. So this is what happens when you play with weird shit all the time. This is
what happens when I mingle with human beings. I get infected with everyone's germs. That's what happens. Like I said, next year we'll be doing a fine line of CrackCon merchandise, and mine will be a hazmat suit. That's what I'm planning for next week. Should be interesting trip around Derby dressed like that. So Dom, what have you been up to? Yeah, much done?
Yeah, I have actually got quite a bit done. Actually, I had another bizarre week of painting because I haven't. I was saying last week, I sort of haven't really clicked back into any of the ongoing projects for some reason. I've just wanted to just do random shit, really, that's sort of sitting around ready to be done. So, case in point, what was this really? Just did a Japanese arch because I found it in the box and I thought I'll do that. So I painted it up. So, that was a bit weird. But then I thought, right, I'll get down to some of the other stuff. So I did actually paint 32 of these fellas. Armando British Warriors. Yeah. I don't know. They're so easy to paint and I've really kind of enjoyed doing them. So I've just been whacking through them. So they're mostly those Wargames Atlantic. The box set with the troops. But then I put in a couple of metals that I had kicking around. I think they were Welsh or Irish, I can't remember, but they fit in quite well in there from Gripping Beast. And I think, yeah, seems to work quite well. So
Nice.
there's a chunk of them done. Yeah, quite pleased with how they came out. So yeah, at some point I'll be able to do some Dark Age games. I'm pretty close to being able to do them now, so that's fun. And then I've been tripping over. I've mentioned it before, but I sort of have everything sort of in various stage of prep. So models assembled, some undercoated on sprue on tongue depressor things, ready to go, primed, and then just when I fancy it, I pick them out of a box and I go with them. And I had these Ottoman cavalry kicking around, and I keep knocking the bloody spears off them, so they stop throwing the bloody spears at me. So I thought I'd better paint them, so I did.
Wow.
Some Mamluk cavalry from the Perrys, I think they were. Yeah, so nice to finally get them done, because I say that Blessed Perrys are brilliant, but the spears on them are very bendy. So you knock them off, they get bent, and then you spend about 20 minutes trying to straighten the bloody things out. But yeah, they came out. So
very colourful, very colourful.
Very colourful. It is very colourful army. I think I might get them to have a game with them soon. I'm just still working through some sort of rules for using them for black powder. So I know Tim Napoleonic Wargamer did some rules for the period, but there were bits of it I liked and bits and I wasn't sure. So I was going to sort of adapt what he's done and add my own little bit to them, but I've just been a bit lazy and got around to doing it. So yeah, that was fine. And then I don't know why, last night I was sitting watching crap on the telly as usual, and I thought I'd do some mules. So
they're the ones we picked up last year.
That's right. We got them at Warfare last year.
Yeah, I found mine the other day, and then I did that thing where I put them in a different box, and now I don't know where I put them. Yeah,
I think that's what happened to these, because we picked them up. They were like 10p each or something, weren't they, at Warfare? Something stupid. And I thought, well, they'll be useful for scenarios and games. So, like you did, I put them in a box somewhere, and then when I was rooting around the other day, I thought, oh, there they are. So I thought, right, I'll paint them up. So there you go, they're painted up. Yeah, so that's what I've been up to. So quite productive. Back on reasonable.
Very, very, very eclectic.
It seems to be the way at the moment for me. I just seem to be bouncing around all over the place with what I'm working on. I should just focus down on a project, but I'm kind of just not in the mood for doing that. It's just sometimes you just. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think. It's just odd. I just quite like. Just sometimes you just get in the mood. I do, and you just variety. Just has to be something different. That keeps me going. But I'm just assembling some more Dark Age figures at the moment, so it looks like that's going to be front of the queue for a bit. I very nearly launched into my sort of emergency project this week, and then I decided I'd park that for a bit longer. So yeah, all good.
Break in case of emergency.
Yeah, you've got to have an emergency project in your stash of opportunity. Well, I do.
Mine
really good.
My emergency are Quar, but I've still not managed to get around to doing any of them. So.
Well, that's our Christmas project, isn't it? Remember?
Yeah. Oh yes,
that's our Christmas when we're drinking the Quarmageddon Christmas episode, where we're drinking and we're drinking and building Quar while James does the bingo. What could possibly go wrong?
If that doesn't sum up Christmas spirit, I don't know what does. That's the nature of Christmas right there for everybody. So Martin, what have you been up to?
Hang on a second. I was just about to Let me clean my brush. Hang on. I was just about to.
Talk about
I've been fairly busy as well. I've got a number of things that are coming out. Probably drunk. He doesn't even know what Quar are. We had to explain to him after the show. So no, I've had a busy week. I've got a few games that are coming up. I've got a game tomorrow. So the main thing is I got a game of Pillage tomorrow, and it's one that I wanted to do. And it's like a scenario we've designed with some special rules designed for fighting in the marshes. And because I want to do this thing with Hereward the Wake, I wanted to have a suitable Hereward the Wake model. one that looked suitably heroic. So I went through my Saxons. So I went through the Anglo-Danish set from Victrix. So I pilfered bits off the command sprue. I then went to the Norman set because I thought I might have nicked some Norman equipment. So I went to that because he allegedly killed 14 drunk Normans at his father's house when he got back into the country. And then I wanted a decent head, and I couldn't find like just a head that sort of said, here I am. I'm gonna take you on. So in the end, I found one in the late Roman sprue, which I think is meant to be a Goth or a Vandal, but I quite liked it. And anyway, so I sat there for a couple of hours building and kit bashing, converting, and adding some putty and things like that. I came up with this, and I've painted him, so he's ready for tomorrow's game. So here's my Hereward the Wake.
Oh, very nice.
Ready to take the fight to the Normans. Yeah, I was really pleased. When I painted him, I tried to kind of, I don't know, I just really enjoyed. I sat there and just painted the whole thing yesterday. Just kept it kept the tones sort of quite sort of like warm. I even went for some freehand at the bottom, some little Saxon designs on the bottom of the cloak. I don't know why. I was really.
You realise after all that work, Martin, he's going to die in about 5
absolutely.
minutes.
Oh, of course he will. Yeah, he'll probably drown in a puddle. He won't even make it to combat. So yeah, I was just really I was really pleased. I did some different things, couple of different sort of techniques, and yeah, I was really pleased with how he's come out. I've written some rules for him with a couple of special rules to sort of reflect what he's doing, but all in sort of like the spirit of the game. So we've got a game now. It wouldn't have been the same if he didn't have a Norman camp to pillage and raid. So I've already got a Norman fort, which I use it's just a fort. So I'm going to use, it's one I use for the Crusade. So I'm going to use that in the game. But something that always sort of slightly bugs me about wargaming tents is they're always really small. Wargaming tents. I don't know why. I guess it's just, again, like buildings are never really the right size either. So I found some files and then just enlarged them so they could be the right size and printed off some extra bits. So I've done some tents and some campfires and a couple of defenses that are going to be used, which will be, they're going to be using quite a few war games, but they'll be making their little debut tomorrow. And then, of course, it wouldn't be a battle in the fens if it didn't have loads of swamps. So the other last week, I think I showed before, I got Tessa to help me make them, and I got her to help me finish them this week by just putting the flock on them. And I think we used about 100, 200 tufts. God knows how many tufts on these. So we've done one batch of them here. So just little swampy pieces to put down, just to denote the area. So everything around these will count as sort of swampy. But so there's 6 there, and then there's another batch here. Where I found some old bits of scenery like MDF wheels and that to chuck in there and things.
You're going to have paths through the fens that only the Saxons know.
Well, yeah, that was the thing. So we've got some, because there were some rules that Guillaume, the author of Pillage, kind of he trialed in a game, and I was chatting to him, and I've sort of been speaking to him about rules that could be used, and what it would, sort of running things past and see what he thinks. And he was very brutal. He was very simply, if you move here in marsh and you roll a 1, you drown. And I was like, that's a bit brutal. I sat there going, that's a bit brutal, even for me.
Even you said that, blimey.
So we got something else, because I quite like the idea of people getting stuck and then filled full of arrows. Which I can't tell if that's worse, but I like the idea of you get stuck for a little bit, you get stuck, and then if you then you could drown, or you're trying to get out. And I just feel that cinematic moment where someone's running away and they get stuck in the marsh and filled full of arrows, which is actually what happened around here. There was the Battle of Thornham, which was up the road from where I live. The Flemish mercenaries all got stuck in the marsh there, and all the locals just killed them with spears and left the bodies standing upright. As a warning.
Well, that'll teach them. Yeah.
So yeah, I should have modelled some actually standing upright in the marsh. But yeah, I have been thinking about that. Like maybe if people are within a certain radius of Hereward, that they don't have to make that roll. He's guiding them through the marsh. But then also in the tales, in the chronicles, he also like dresses up as a blacksmith and a potter and that. So I was thinking, well, you could have some fun where, like, if you've got some civilians on the board, the Saxon player could like pick one to be heroine. You don't know which one it is.
Well, just
well, that's it. You could get like the knackered sort of like looking old man, and all of a sudden he casts off his cloak and this comes rampaging out of the. So no, I'm really pleased. I'm looking forward to it. It's a good game. I'm really looking forward to it. I've actually played. Me and Robin haven't played a game other than obviously the CrackCon game, which we didn't really play for a couple of months. So I got that, and then I went round my mate Kev's, and then we had a game of Test of Honor, and I forgot he's got. And so I took some pictures of this because he has an amazing setup. So this was his table that he set up for us to play on. Which was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We were playing a game which had sort of random deployment. So because you'll kind of arrive on the battlefield in the mist, and then the mist like lifts, and all of a sudden you're in each other's faces. So charging on turn one kind of thing. So I had Musashi, who is a combat monster. The rest of my guys just died in their droves. In my first turn, my crack shot sniper musket samurai man got nailed Boromir style by some crappy archers, and then it was down. He was halfway towards his victory point total just with that. But it was a really good game. People love it. I really enjoy Test of Honor. I am enjoying playing it. Actually, it's been a little while since I've done that. So lots of scenery. Game tomorrow. I'm just finishing off some Normans to add to tomorrow's game. That's plan. I've got 5 of them here in the hope that they're going to help me out. So I've done some more crossbowmen and a guy blowing a horn because he's going to warn everyone clearly. But yeah, that's all I've been doing.
No.
I would have been doing loads. Like I say, I came back from CrackCon infused with inspiration for all kinds of different things and bits and pieces. But I have started something, and there's no pictures right now. I'm going to show you what it is. You know what it is, but so a bit of can you see that?
The Baron's Wars.
So it's a bit of retail therapy. Make myself feel a bit better. But I've wanted it. I've been meaning to get into it for ages, and I don't know. I think at the CrackCon, I just thought I really fancy taking the plunge because, like I say, I've got those foot knights that I painted last year, so that's them done. So they're all sorted. So over the past week or so, when I've been awake and not sleeping, I've been working on some foot sergeants. So they will hopefully finish this week, and I've got some some decals from Wargames Atlantic being delivered tomorrow, apparently. So make a start on that. But no, I've been doing a lot of reading and watching videos about the Baron's War, and
getting your inspiration ready.
Some pretty awful people. Some pretty awful people.
Yeah.
They're all awful.
I don't know what it is. They're all awful. I
don't know there was anybody particularly nice through the medieval period at all, really.
No, everyone makes a big thing about like William Marshall. It's like, oh, he's the greatest. And it's like, he's really not that. The standard is pretty low.
Yeah.
To be considered okay, he might have been, he was a brilliant knight. He served 5 kings. He did some amazing campaigns. He had a really adventurous lifestyle, but he still did some horrible shit.
Compared to the pathological maniacs that there were around the place, he was reasonably okay, but he's not by modern standards.
I've been reading this really dry. But I've got it in I've got a Baron's War video coming out in the next couple of days, actually. And I've been reading this really dry book about the household knights of King John. And these are the poor, but he had 100 household knights, and you compare that to Henry, his son, who had 12. And it goes through sort of like, you know, all the different jobs they did and all of the stuff that he sent them around the kingdom doing. And I'm sort of making it my mission to sort of build them up one by one, which is the 3 I've done already. So each of them have got these, they're actually King John's knights. They're not just you know, these barons like, oh, you know, who would never be there. They're being sent out on John's little orders. And some of them are so reluctant to do anything. Half the time he has to go fetch them. He has to send someone to fetch them from their estates. And I think one of them essentially responds with the early medieval equivalent of "Why me?" And then I think he's essentially told you've got to go. And this is what the video is going to be about, and we're going to sort out a scenario for this. He's this is after John has died, and he thinks, oh, I don't have to do anything for the crown anymore. And then Henry sends him to France to bring back his sister, John's daughter, Joan. And he's got to go to France, get with 2 other knights, which are the other 2 I've painted, go to France and get her from Lusignan, and then escort her back. And the French attack them on the way. They hand her over and attack them on the way to the ship. So there's like this whole ambush scenario you can play. There's these knights are trying to get like the king's sister, 10-year-old sister, back to the ship. So I may have, and also because I was chatting to Paul Hicks, just as you do, but I may have gone and made some purchases ready to do this scenario. And I've also been prepping water. I don't know how well that's going to come out on here, but there you go. There's water ready to put this across. So yeah, they're all pretty shit. Basically, that's why they're great fun.
I came across that fella Eustace the monk again. He was a bit mad, wasn't he?
He's an absolute knob. They call him Eustace the monk. He was a monk for about a month.
I know. I was going to say, I haven't read up about him. His monk days were pretty low.
Yeah, and then he took over the Channel Islands with his brothers, and then was ferrying the armies across. And then he was so crap that when it came to being like ransomed, and he was so hated that they essentially just went no and exit. And then they tied him to a trebuchet and just beheaded him against it on a ship. Right? Yeah, he's these are disliked by everyone.
Oh, well, everybody needs a hobby. So yeah, that's my plan. The Barons War. So once I'm feeling a bit better, I'm really planning to get stuck into these. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a lot of
it's a good option. They're lovely figures, if nothing else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been looking through the levy and the archers. Yeah. They look really nice. I'm looking forward to
really good
painting those. So no, that's gonna be good. Like I say, it was just something I've been wanting to get into for ages, and I thought, no, because I've been doing, like say, second edition 40k. I've been reorganizing my bolt action armies, painting bits here and there, and then with the new Japanese infantry coming out soon, hopefully there's a starter army, because I'll be picking that up.
Nice.
Because I've not got any opposition from my Marines or my Australians, so I shall need to get myself into that.
Are they all new sculpts? Those
new plastic kit. So you're going to get all the options. It said in the box you get options for medium machine guns. You can get options for the special naval landing force as well, which used to be a sort of metal additions to the regular kit. So all going to be contained in one box. So yeah, looking forward to that. Should be really interesting. Yeah, because again, the Japanese, it's a fairly old range. Brilliant. So Sam's just confirmed it is a starter army. Yes, Warlord Games, take my money. That's what will be happening. I'm looking forward to that. My mate's got about 10,000 points worth of Japanese, so I don't know what he's going to do. He said he was going to use them to bulk out or just amend it slightly. But yeah, he spent years painting his Japanese. Absolutely loads of them.
Nice.
Right. Cool. Right. So on to tonight's chat. So the future of wargaming and changes we'd like to see. So what I thought I'd do, before we get, pop your comments in, we'll star those and we'll get to those later on in the podcast. But what I thought we'd do is to keep it sort of on track, is to break it down into 4 categories. So miniatures, rules, community, and technology. That sounds like a round of university challenge.
It does, yeah.
We're not quite that highbrow on this podcast, unfortunately.
No,
so
definitely not.
What are you saying? What's he saying?
We're shallow. That's what he's saying.
Well, all our quizzes come from ChatGPT.
That's true.
Oh,
True.
God, I was trying to explain that to my girlfriend, and she was like, I was like, just. Well, it was one of those you had to be there moments. You literally had to be there for it. Just.
Oh, bless him.
I think I've got PTSD from that. Okay, so the reason that this came about was a couple of weeks back. For some reason I was thinking back to the year 2000 and what my hobbying looked like back then. And scarily, that was 25 years ago, which is absolutely frightening.
Which is that?
Yeah,
I just finished my GCSEs.
I got my hair cut for the first time because I had like properly long hair in 2000. So I got my hair cut. That was the momentous event of 2000.
That was the one thing. Everyone else remembers all sorts of things. You remember having a haircut. I love it.
Me having my ponytail cut off. Jeez. And I just thought that how much has changed in just 25 years. I mean, even changing with sort of 10 years as well. Just so much that went on. I mean, imagine going like 25 years ago saying, oh, by the way, in 25 years, you'll be able to print your own miniatures at home. You want to buy, you can get the files download and try and explain 3D printing to them.
You'd be burned to the stake, mate. That's it.
Well, yeah. And you might get a lawsuit as well. That seems to be quite prevalent at the moment. But so and there was back then, Games Workshop still made metal miniatures, which they don't do anymore. And it just got me thinking. I mean, just if I wanted to buy miniatures, I'd actually have to leave the house and go to a shop. You should go to Chester for most of my stuff. But now it's like you can have things delivered the next day. So as far as the purchase of miniatures goes, what do you think is going to be a significant change in the future for actually obtaining your miniatures?
Obtaining them. I mean,
or have we reached that point where we've got instant access to figures now, especially with 3D printing? And
it's hard to see how delivery of figures would change that much. Because at the end of the day, what's faster than getting Amazon or similar to deliver within 24 hours, or you print them off your machine? I'm not quite. It'd be hard pressed to know how that. But then you could say that 10 years ago about things, and look at what's changed. So it's difficult. I can't think of anything myself that would change drastically. Certainly around figures and themselves and the ranges and all that. I think there's going to continue to be huge amounts of changes there. But in terms of delivering the stuff, I mean, if you think where it came from, as you say, you had to go to a shop or wait a fortnight for the figures to turn up from a postal service that wasn't particularly well. The postal service itself was great, but generally the companies took a week or so to fulfill the orders, and none of that seems to be the case pretty much anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I'm hard pressed to think of anything from a delivery point of view that would be different.
From delivery, I think you'll see in a few of the miniature ranges. I think you're going to see made to order a bit more because people don't have to hold stock as much. As, if they've got good sculpts that they can convert to 3D files, and they can do print runs, or they'll do a even GW does it. they'll release like figures on a limited run and made to order, and they're available for a month, and then they're not available anymore. I think we'll probably see more of that. There's a few smaller manufacturers who have occasionally they'll do it. For example, our goblins are going to be goblin ranges did so well, they're going to be available next month. So those of you who want them to come back, rather than keeping them stocked the whole time, you'll see them. You'll see sort of drops of stock, if that makes sense, and then advertise it, and then once it's gone, and then wait again until it builds up, and then do it again. I think you'll see more of that because people
do you
don't.
think that'll happen outside of because that obviously happens in the weird world of fantasy and sci-fi stuff. But do you think that could happen in historicals?
It has happened. There was I can't remember who it was now. Oh God, who was it? Someone did it because they said they don't, if because of that they don't have to hold warehouse space.
Right.
They just don't need. Well, they don't need the same level of space. They don't need the rent. They don't need the overheads. So I mean, yeah, I don't think it's applicable to just fantasy. I think it's applicable across the board. If anything, I think it would probably work better for historicals because it's if we're saying that a lot of money is dumped, more money is dumped on fantasy and sci-fi, historicals are probably the people who are holding stock that's going to sell more slowly.
But there isn't so much. I mean, the thing with historicals generally is, a historical range is still valid. It's not like they're suddenly going to withdraw your army. They're not going to suddenly go, well, Austrian Napoleonic army, we're not going to allow that anymore. Like they do in a GW setting.
No, that's not what I mean. That's not what I mean, though. I mean, people are just saying that they just look at which ones are selling well. If it's not selling well, they'll withdraw it and hold it off stock. Because what's the point in stocking it and manufacturing it if no one's buying it, when you could hold it off and then just say, because you could then gauge demand, and you can build up a little bit. Well, people always seem to want something when it's not available. And then once you have enough people, you can sort of build up. It's not. I just think that's something that you'll see more of. It's already started a little bit, and not just on miniatures. It's happened in RPGs where books are print on demand. But people will say, right, next month this campaign setting is available again. I've seen that. But,
so in some ways, that could affect the sort of immediacy that we've kind of love now, because if you say, I know you want to do a particular Viking. Viking's probably a bad idea because I imagine that's going to be one that would continue. But say you want to do something slightly more obscure that doesn't get done very often, or they only print the figures once every 6 months or so. You can't sort of. You've got to plan for that. You've got to be ready for it and ready to go. You can't just go on a whim. I want to build an army of whatever it is. Interesting.
Yeah. But prices are going up. Overheads go up. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens at the end of the month with the budget and that. So but either that, or they're selling their ranges to like we saw, like Magister Militum sold to war bases. Yeah, who have that space and who have that ability to do it, because there's so many ranges that people that haven't been available for a long time.
Yeah,
and got other companies buying them. That's another way of doing it. So I think we might see a little bit more of that.
That's interesting. Like I said, I mean, have we reached the point now where like Dom said, the immediacy is you can more or less have what you. I mean, especially if you use Uncle Jeff's website of interesting things with next day delivery. I mean, it's been, for me, that's dangerous. That's why I've got a ridiculous stash, because I'll have an idea and I know that within 24 hours I'm gonna have the models here, and then I move on to something else. And I think, well, did I need to spend that? Did I actually need to add that to the collection? Am I ever going to use this? So I think that immediacy was, like I say, years ago, it was a jump on the bus, go to Chester, womble round Games Workshop and whatever other shops we could find there. I don't know, halcyon days. I think there were more innocent days when we could just go out and actually just go to the shops and buy miniatures instead of the actual. Like I say, with I'm still convinced that it was 3D printing that gave me hobby burnout last year, because I could just have what I wanted straight away. Literally, I'll download that, print it off, there we go. And I just got overwhelmed and then I lost all interest. A very strange thing. But
I don't know. I mean, I guess eventually 3D printing will completely replace traditional figures. Eventually, but it's probably going to be quite a while before it does. Just because, younger people are more used to having 3D printers, it'll become cheaper and easier to use. I mean, it's pretty cheap and easy to use, but definitely less toxic and nasty for you, which I think is a barrier to entry for a lot of people, more than the price these days. I think it's worrying about the smell and what you do with all the chemicals afterwards and that sort of thing. So I think that will be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. Burnout on it. That immediacy thing is a problem, isn't it? It definitely is. The fear of missing out kind of thing. And before you're sitting watching a video, and before you know it, you've got 50 quid's worth of STLs in your basket, and they've probably been emailed to you, and you're ready to go, and you think, oh Jesus, why do I do that? And suddenly you've got as many STLs in your filing cabinet as you have real boxes of figures in the box. It's I don't know, it's interesting. I guess we're all Wargamers are collectors as well, aren't we? So we love that kind of stuff.
Well, like I said, the immediacy thing is just knowing that if I see something at midday on the Monday, chances are I could have it by midday Tuesday. Yeah. And then, I mean, in those 24 hours, my brain could have moved on to something else. Like last year, I bought those Adeptus Mechanicus, the Castellan robots. I've wanted to build those for years. They got here and they're still in the stash. I just didn't do anything with them. I don't know why.
I mean, I've done the same many times. You think, oh, that's so, I just really love that figure. I really want to get it, and just never do anything with it. And it's such a shame. Yeah. Do you think there's going to be a lot more sort of almost bespoke figures produced for people? And also retro figures? Because, you've done a retro project, Steve. I know there's a lot of interest in sort of older historical ranges, minifigs and those sort of things are still very, very popular. Do you think that kind of stuff's going to take off in a big way? It's just sad dudes like us that still love it.
I don't know. I think for me with the older miniatures, it's all nostalgia. It's all tied to the nostalgia side of wanting to collect figures that I either had before and have lost, or couldn't afford when I was younger, but now I'm older and can afford them. I don't know whether it's like video games though. I'd love to go back and play video games that I used to play 10, 15, 20 years ago, but some just aren't available, or are just not back compatible on modern consoles.
Well, yeah, we remember.
there is that. Mind you, I think a few war games are like that though, aren't they?
That's true.
You view them through rose-tinted nostalgia glasses, and you sit down.
Absolutely. I've had that conversation with Ken a lot.
Okay, with that in mind, and with rules, how do you think rules are going to change? Because people are always going to be writing rules, and like I said, we've mentioned this several times throughout the year. The speed at which new rules are being released, I think over the past 18 months, they just seem massively amounts of new rules being released across both historical, sci-fi, fantasy. There just seems to be loads of games coming out. Loads of rule sets. I mean, the one thing I was actually talking to a mate about this the other week, and do you ever think there'll be a time when war games rules will all be digital? There'll be no physical rule books anymore.
What do you? What you mean, rather than by so they might. I mean, already some people are just releasing physical copies. They do.
Well, Lardies are doing that now, aren't they? Lardies have said that they're only going to do PDFs now because the cost, certainly for shipping abroad, is so prohibitive. So they're reduced. I think they'll do a launch stock of things, I think they said, but once they've used up those, it's going to be PDF only. Which, I guess, the costs are so phenomenal to produce these things. And to your point, Steve, you're kind of competing against people who are producing these things very simply and cheaply and putting them on whatever Wargames Vault, isn't it, where the rules will go for very little money. And it's hard to compete against that if you're a major manufacturer or a major rule writer. I don't know. I can't help but thinking the proliferation of rules is actually a bad thing. Because I just think it sort of dilutes the hobby a bit. It dilutes things. So if you want to go and play medieval period rules, how many sets of rules? I mean, how many? And if you turn up at a club that you don't live near, don't normally go to, or you move to a new area you want to play, it's like chances of somebody playing the same rules that you've got and you like. I know you can try and persuade them, but I don't know. It's sometimes, to me, it was in the good old days. Back in the good old days, it was here I go the old Dom stories. But if you went down your club, pretty much everyone played Wargames Research Group or maybe Newbury Fast Rules or something. There was fairly standard sets of rules. Occasionally there were some outliers, but pretty much everyone played the same thing. It's nowadays there's so many, and then you fit in the home brew rules and God knows.
It's the drive to have period specific rules that actually reflect Warfare, isn't it? Because there's plenty of general rule systems out there, and you can play a game of anything, and with a few tweaks. But it's this desire that people have to have the rules that reflect the period. As we've said, there's been a huge surge in medieval gaming, but that none of those rules that have come out recently, I'm not going to include Midgard in this because Midgard's kind of a general one where you can pick and choose what you use. Deal with mass. None of them are mass battle. They're all small battle, large skirmish, or very small scale skirmish. No one wants to tackle, and that's because again, we've talked about this before when we go into it, but that's because at the face of it, a medieval battle is actually quite dull in terms of the tactics. It's just there's, what have we got? We got pillage, ruckus, Baron's War, Echoshures. That's the new one that's coming out. There's there was a Great Hell that's come out this year. There was another one that I've got over there. I can't remember what it's called. I've got a video coming out on it in the next couple of weeks. It's quite fun. And then you've got lots of second editions and things coming out as well. Saga, it's obviously been kicking around for a while now. They did Age of Chivalry. The one I'm looking forward to, which was teased, which people have been talking about and was teased on Facebook the other day, is Soldiers of Chivalry, which is Warwick and Soldiers of Napoleon. So we might be looking at a mass battle system there. So hopefully that's going to be good. But cheers, Steph. Test to Resolve, Blood and Horse Droppers. So there's a huge amount. And then of course when you add on top of that the general rule sets that you could apply to lots of different eras, it does seem to be sort of flooded. It goes like that, doesn't it? 3 or 4 years ago, it was Napoleonics. There was just massive. I was
going to say, what do you think causes that? Then is it one company or one writer will go for it, and another company will go, well, I want to jump on the back of that, and I'll get.
They can't unless they get wind that someone is going to be doing it. It just kind of goes in cycles, I think, doesn't it? I remember when the second edition of Hail Caesar came out, there was quite and that was late medieval. They had that late medieval section in it. There was a push on stuff there, and that's just because people are like, well, they're going to be buying figures. People are going to, are going to want to check it out. weirdly, haven't really seen that much with the Ancients. Really,
No.
in the terms of
No,
That'll be the next
no.
one, I think. Definitely.
Well, what would you say was the last sort of new Ancient rule set that came out?
other than SPQR.
The
The last big ancient, and I'm sorry if everyone said, but the last big Ancients release was and it's not even really a new release, was the epic Hail Caesar Hannibal stuff. There was a surge in that, and I think that's still been, I think, their most successful release. It certainly had the most varied kits and armies and and stuff going for it. And then they kind of followed on with their little Revolution release, and I got no idea how that's done, but I don't really see that many people sort of talking about it. But obviously that's for a system that already existed. So if you mean brand new, like a whole brand new like system, I don't know, Dom.
I was thinking, was it possibly Infamy by Too Fat Large?
That was
what's that, 5-6 years ago?
Yeah,
5 years
I think
ago?
you're right. It probably was the last sort of massish battle system, that's for sure. Yeah, of a completely new variety. Yeah, I think you're probably right, Steve. Yeah,
so
it's interesting. I don't know why they go in phases. I also wonder whether now part of the proliferation of things like medievals is that people sort of it's a lot easier to produce your own rule set that you want to do, and people go, well, I like kind of what they're doing with this rule set, but I don't like this bit. And whereas we always used to house rule things, they almost go like, I'll produce a new rule set. And some of them, the manufacturers pick them up because they go, oh, it's a good way of selling, as Martin says, selling new figures. So they'll go, oh, I'll support that. It's a group of beasts go, oh yeah, I'll support this because we can sell more stuff. I don't know whether that has something to do with it. It's
on Bloody Ground. Yeah, that was
oh yeah, true.
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? It's I don't know. I think rules have always been a bit cyclical like this, haven't they? They've always been people sort of launch into whatever it may be. Second World War for you'll get something about 20 sets of rules for Second World War come out, and then that'll all sort of pass, and they'll sort of filter out, and then some people die hard on one set of rules. And the next thing you know, it's medievals, and then the next thing you know, it's So it just seems to be the way it's always been, a bit like that.
So moving forward, then looking forward to the future, what is there anything you'd like to see changed with regards to how they're released, how they're written?
Bloody indexes would be good. Jesus.
I just get away from this. I think we've got enough streamlined rule sets. I just think I don't really see. We've talked about that to death as well, but it's not really streamlining, is it? It's just watering down. Yeah. We've talked about that, and there's loads of systems out there already about how to again, if you want like a streamlined rule set, there's plenty of systems out there. There are general systems that you can just use to play the rules that the period that you want. It's just that they won't be particularly specific. Don't expect particularly accurate simulations of for example, the command structure of a Napoleonic battle. So yeah, I don't. Do
you think they'll dumb down anymore? Because there's certainly been a simplification of rules over the years. They're not as complicated. They're much much more fast playing as a nature. Do you think they can go in even more simple direction?
I don't know. I mean, I play a couple of games that I would say I wouldn't say they were streamlined. I would say, and I wouldn't say they were basic. I would just say, I'm trying to get the right phrase to actually use to describe it. So one is obviously Space Weirdos. That's just purely, here's your rules. They are, but it's no, you can add to it. But they are a very, very simple, and it was written that way. Another one is I can't remember the name of it. Is that the sort of modern rogue skirmish warriors? Was that the one I was playing last year? I've not played it for a while. Again, I know there's a couple of people when I made a video about it, a couple of people in the group went out and checked it out, and I think there was one person, and it was basically these are too basic, too streamlined. I like them though because it fits into my current way of gaming, small scale, fast paced, low figure count, small playing area, and it's got all of that, so I really enjoy that. But like you said, I think that you can dilute a game down to a point where you might as well just go and start playing Connect 4 or Ludo or
exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Because it's been completely. I know people have said that. I mean, I don't know how true it is that with 40k. I've not played 40k like for over 20 years. The modern versions were more. I don't like whether I like to use the word dumbed down, but they were more streamlined to make the gameplay faster. I'm not quite. I'd say that's only what I've heard. It's not something that I've got any experience of.
I think they are compared to maybe what they used to be, but I think they've got more moving parts now because you have stratagems and sort of external stuff. But at the same time, have you seen the size of that rulebook? There's so many moving parts in it because obviously balance is a big thing.
Yeah,
I'd say it's hugely complex. I've got the 30k rulebook, and that I had to actually put post-its in it before I got things wrong to sort of like remember where I was.
Yeah, so obviously modern 40k is massively common. I mean, does it change through to it? I mean, like I say, I've got no dog in this race because I don't know much about modern 40k. But yeah, so yeah, Robert's put so many interactions between things. As a question from Oliver Vance, what is the line between simple and dumbed down? The Black Powder family of games is simple, but it's clean and handles mass battle with nuance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for some people, that is dumbed down. You're right. I mean, it's just how you view it, isn't it?
I won't name it, but where you resolve everything with one dice roll, which resolves the hit, wound, and result, and then you just go, oh, okay. That to me is where we've kind of like that we've reached a sort of a point of I don't really want, I want a little bit more tension than that. I
think the one thing I think, I think definitely the way rules have changed is obviously about playability, being able to play a game in 2 hours, whatever the timescale is, sort of a typical evening game. Seems to have definitely changed the nature of rules to simplify them to a degree. But I think that to going to a point where they no longer have that feel, like to your point, you just roll a dice and that unit's wiped out. That's kind of not an awful lot of fun for most people who are into their gaming. They want to add for a bit more than that. They want a bit of nuance to it. So I don't think it could ever go. Oh no, I think it would never really get a foothold to go totally simplistic. Otherwise you might just go back to how you were as a kid, rolling marbles at your figures and and that kind of stuff. So I think probably that. What I think would be interesting, and we've sort of talked about this to a degree, but I'd love to see somebody who actually took a view of a set of rules that sort of covered a lead up to a battle. So you could play the sort of the skirmish, small scale battle scenario in a preamble to a battle that then led on to the full scale fight, and maybe then had another phase that was the aftermath. That would be kind of fun.
That's what Fire and Sword does.
And
it does it well. It has a reconnaissance skirmish, and then.
But do you actually play a game for the reconnaissance, or is it just?
No, so reconnaissance. There are two ways you can play reconnaissance. You can either play it as so there's reconnaissance, then there's the skirmish, then there's the divisional game.
Right.
So each game has a reconnaissance phase. And then there's a couple. When you play a divisional game, you do actually play a bit of reconnaissance stuff. If you're doing a skirmish, you don't. You just basically total up how many reconnaissance points you both got, and then depending on who's got what, you get certain in-game effects, or you can use them in a certain way. Yeah. When you're doing the divisional level stuff, you can do a lot more with it, and you play the skirmish, and you can deploy troops. You have a little battle at the start, and then that affects what's going on in the main battle, if you like. But of course, that does extend time. But if you've got a weekend to play, yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, interesting. I've had rules where there's some kind of variability that allows, you've got more cavalry than he has, so therefore he has to deploy first kind of scenario. But I actually played it out as a proper. I know you can do your own scenarios that way, but I don't know. Just that was what appealed to me, to have some proper system that worked.
Yeah,
for that.
I mean, you will, but again, and I totally agree, and I'd love that, but it's not going to work. But people are sort of targeting club play and fast play.
No,
it's not going to work. Not unless you.
Well, except you could do it one week and then come back and do the big battle next week. But,
yeah, and do it that way. As long as you remember where everything was, and you can get it deployed, and no one has an argument. I think there's a passion at the minute, certainly in there, for certainly more RPG light games. If we look at like NARM 68 for the historical stuff, where you're actually seeing your platoon through through a tour, and it affects them, rather than just people have always enjoyed that with like Necromunda, Blood Bowl's just had another edition. I very nearly added that to my Christmas list. I spent a little bit too long hovering on sites like, this is this looks good.
Honest,
I've
been tempted by that. I really have.
I've dug out my old. I sold my team with the Nagaroth Nightmares. I sold them ages ago, but I've still got all the old catalog and rulebook and that. But that sort of legacy gaming, things that affect campaigns, and that's certainly popular. And I think we'll probably see more of that getting added into systems.
That was one thing that one part of the hobby's always appealed to me, is that campaign aspect, and seeing a Necromunda group of gangers progress, getting injured, losing abilities, gaining abilities. Say Necromunda, Blood Bowl, things like that. And Martin said, I think there is, like when I'm 68, one of the biggest appeals for me was that it was that leading a platoon through a tour. That really appeals, because you get to the squad bit, or the platoon comes alive. It's your platoon. I think there is going to be a big focus on games like that moving forward. Especially more campaign. I might have a bit of RPG elements to it.
I wonder whether that kind of thing will become a lot easier as I'm going to use it. AI comes into the hobby more and more. Whether there's a way of where that will start to allow that kind of, because part of the problem with those sort of things is keep the interest for two players, isn't it? If you're playing something like NARM or whatever, one of these where there is a generation, it's like, well, do I really want to play again because my squad was wiped out last week, whatever, or I've got to play the bloody Viet Cong again where you're going to get kicked, sort of keeping the interest high. So having some sort of AI capability that generates excitement for both sides, or potentially the only thing I'd love to see, and I hope to see if AI does take on in the hobby a bit more, is around solo play. Can it properly give because there's lots of ways to play solo, but then none of them are particularly satisfactory. But you had an AI system to play against, it's going to play hopefully like a real player. and then create more of a challenge and more of an interesting game for you to play. A bit like, video games, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember I used to use this app. It was an X-Wing app. That sort of it was very, very rudimentary AI. In fact, it wouldn't even be considered AI. It was all based on the position of your ships. You would then use this app and it would determine what move or what maneuver or actions the enemy ships were going to take. It was good for really basic practice games if you wanted to practice flying a new ship or a new formation. It was really good for that, but it didn't really replace an actual human being. I never thought I'd hear myself saying that. But no, you just didn't get that. I mean, most games could be soloed. X-Wing, for me, it wasn't. It was you could practice against this app, but for the actual game, no, you couldn't do it. There were so many things that you couldn't do. Whether or not AI will solve that moving forward, generating scenarios or campaigns or anything like that. No, that will be interesting to see.
I mean, clearly that's going to be it's impacting every area of the world, so I'm sure it'll impact wargaming as well. But I think that's where potentially it could impact in a positive way, is around the sort of scenario generation, creating some kind of friction difference in the game, solo gaming, whatever it may be, just to create that challenge that, we're not all whiz kids are amazing at creating difficult scenarios like our friend up there who comes up with these devious bloody scenarios all over the place.
You can use Chat GPT to create scenarios, and you could just type in, give me a fun scenario using the black powder rule set. Want to do a defense, and it will give you. It will do it. Then obviously it won't be 100%. You'll have to sort of fill in. So blanks, but it can be. I've sat there doing it, just like having a look at it. There's a couple of things, or if you I don't know, say you wanted to add some kind of mechanic to a game, that or if you, I'm sure if you wrote on there, can you sort me out a simple progression system agnostic, for a campaign? And can you generate me a map? I'm sure it would. But then, of course, I know there's a whole different conversation about AI and its uses, and doing it. Where does using it for inspiration and ideas? That's fine, but when you start and you're using it and it's putting people out of business or anything like that, it's a whole different topic. No,
I think you use sensibly, like Dom said. I think for expanding on sort of the solo gaming experience, I've been recommended so many videos recently about people that solo game, and I mean I do a lot of solo gaming, but I've had loads of recommendations recently. People how they do it, So I think AI could definitely add to that, whether it is scenarios, campaigns, etc., or a progression system. I think that would work.
And we're all looking for a damn good fun game, aren't we? So if AI helps you do that, if you have to play a lot of games on your own, or even if you want to play alongside a friend rather than competitively against somebody, having a decent opponent or scenario or setup that allows it to play well, it's got to be a good thing. Because personally, I mean, AI or solo gaming, it can never replace the banter and the laugh you have around the table. But not everyone has the opportunity to do that. So I think you still want to play with your toy soldiers and have a good fun game. So I think, but you're right. There's a lot of negativity around it, rightly so. But also, I think there's a huge opportunity around it, and I'd be interested to see who comes up with some sort of approach, particularly on the rule side, because I think that's the one I'm most interested about AI, is where they're who will come up with some way of utilizing it in an effective way that will. Kind of just make it a lot more fun to play the game.
Yeah.
What if you get to? Paul has said it here, right? What if? Is because he said it's great until AI says it doesn't need you. What if you get so bad where you say to AI, I want a game, and it says I don't really want to play you. I didn't enjoy our last game. It was too easy. Like,
well, then you can go down with the poor bloody pink squishy people down the club and play there.
Yeah,
and leave the computer to play on its own. No, I sort of envisioned it a bit as a sort of almost like that function you have on video games where you can turn it up or turn it down. Kind of. I want a real challenge today. I want to fight Napoleon at his prime in 1809, and see whether I can compete. And other days you think, no, I'll shoot first.
I want to play Napoleon when he's in the house at the back,
exactly.
stuck on the toilet. Yeah.
Exactly.
I beat Napoleon. No.
Good stuff. Right, 9:15. Have we got news?
Oh yeah,
there's news. Yeah, there's
always news. See,
let's do some news. I'll go put the music on.
I have very little, so shall I go first?
You go first.
I think. Hang on a second. Okay. Right, where are we? So, as Steve said, I have 3 things, but as Steve said, and we'll talk about the 3rd season of Blood Bowl is now out, and you could order that from Boards and Swords if you wanted. So it comes with your 2 teams. I think we talked about it last week, but I thought I'd just put it up again just because I'd been looking at it. There you go, Steve. You can have a look. Or I get rid of it. Now, do you occasionally put up the pictures from Warp Miniatures? So again, this is all STL. And do you remember his awesome gnomes?
Yeah.
That he did. Well, Gnomevember is back. So it's the 30th, so he's gone to gnomes again. These are. I'm so close to just buying these. God knows what I'm going to use them. So first of all, there's this thing which is I believe it's a badger ogre, which I thought was. But no, I love this one. I love this one. I absolutely love this one. It's a gnome riding a hedgehog, like a overly. But look, he's wearing hands. He's got oven mitts, so he doesn't get spiked by. And look, there's the collection. Look at those.
Oh my god,
look at those, like a pumpkin trebuchet. I just think it'd be. They're anyway,
fantastic.
There it is.
They really are good.
They are. My mate Kev has got some of them printed out. They are diddy. Even for 28, they are diddy. So you could if you can line them up right, you could just essentially print off like a phalanx of gnomes. They look fantastic. Other than that, well, I'll hand it over to Dom now, and then I'll do the hoodie crack on thing.
Oh yeah, do hang on. Oh god, I wasn't expecting that. That was a big glue.
That's it. Sorry, it was. Yeah, it was.
You teased me with saying you got a couple of things. Right. Blessed Perry's have been at it again. Limited release this week from them. Some generals. So they've got some Spanish generals and some Saxon generals. And mighty fine they look too, as you would expect. Very, very nice. Cool. So they complement obviously they've been working through the Spanish plastic Napoleonic troops and then the Saxon early war figures they've been doing. So these are obviously the generals to go with them. So mighty good, mighty good. We talked about some of the changes around the hobby, and obviously a few companies have shut down or decided to retire. People retiring from the hobby and various ranges being picked up from other people. So Pendragon said they were picking up the Ironclad miniatures, which is great because they do some amazing boxer figures, Ironclad. So they've bought the rights to a lot of their figures. Not everything, I don't think, but most of them anyway. which is great. So Ironclad will continue under Pendragon, which is very exciting.
I stand corrected about something here, and I need to apologise. Apparently, it was not a shaved badger; it is a beaver. No, it's a beaver. Ogre. I apologise. I've been corrected by a couple of people in the chat. I'm sorry that
You've got to know your beavers from your badgers,
my badgers and my beavers. I'm very.
Yes.
I apologise now, and we
you
shall
should be
leave it there.
Should be ashamed of yourself. Steve, you talked about these earlier, but the new Japanese bolt action book is under pre-order at the moment. So if bolt action is your thing, or you just like the books, because actually these books are really good. So that's available now on pre-order. And there you go, sets. There's a couple of other sets as well, but there's some of them, so you can. I didn't realize at first these were new figures, so that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, because they that's an old kit. The plastic Japanese. It's got to be. It was around the same time as sort of the old Germans and the old Soviets as well. So yeah, good to see it getting a bit of a new spruce up. But I will. I'll definitely be. I've been looking at having a. I've been interested in starting a Japanese army for bolt action for ages, but when they announced third edition and they said there was going to be a ramp up in plastic kits and older kits being spruced up and new, so I thought I'll hang fire on the Japanese until I see what's going on. But yeah, definitely interested. Could be my next big bolt action project.
Nice. Ooh. 15% off at Ironclad at the moment. Thank you, James. Excuse me a minute, folks. I've got a bit of shopping to do. Yeah, what else? Great Escape showed off a couple of new gangs.
Oh, yes.
Dead Man's Hand. So this is Spirit Walkers.
They're additions to existing ones.
Oh, are they? Okay.
They're like expansions, if you like.
Brilliant. Spirit Walkers and Confederatos.
Did we mention last week the free download? You can do it in a minute.
No,
so
I think you should.
If you go on Great Escape Games at the minute, if you sign up to their newsletter, if you have a look on their Facebook page, you can actually download a free scenario, which is also a solo scenario, which you can play. Which it was a Halloween themed one, and it runs you through 3 scenarios where you're getting stalked by some spooky cowboys, so you can just get some of your cowboys and paint them up, well, a bit like this guy here, and just slap a load of green paint on them to make them look spooky. So there's a complete little mini campaign that you can either do as a versus campaign or as a solo play. And I believe every order that's placed at the minute, including stuff to pick up at Warfare, there's a free mini which you'll get as well, which is one of the spooky cowboys.
Nice. Nice. Medbury. I like Medbury figures down in Australia. You can buy them physically, but also they do them as STLs. So that's their November release. They're working through 100 Years War figures that they're working through. And there's some nice ones there. Nice. Different personality figures. And also from if your fantasy is your thing, some dwarves. Dwarven barbarians. What's the difference between a dwarven barbarian and a normal dwarf? Aren't they all a bit barbaric, a bit aggressive? I don't know. Anyway, I quite like I like the bolt shooter. It's kind of fun.
That's how it starts, Dom. I like that.
No, not doing it. Although I do actually, I'm talking about I do like those Purvey's guys. Look at the amount of armor.
See, that's 2 things now you like.
Oh, I've seen 2 things.
Moving off. I'm going to more weird shit. Oh, there you go. See, you like this.
Yes.
Civilian survivors. They got the women set out from Wargames Atlantic. I think she's under pre-order at the moment. So for your future wars and various other weird shit that you lot do, there'll be suitable box set. 24 tough hombre women there to go and kick the snot out of poor old men. around the table, should imagine.
They look really good. I need to pick up a box of the operators that they've just released as well. That they look really cool. They can be used for many games. But again,
it's hard to keep up with what Wargames Atlantic are working on.
Yeah.
Just churning stuff out. They're so nice. So there you go. I think that's all I saw.
Okay. I have Lazy Pirate has reminded us that the 4th edition of Kings of War is going on to pre-order this week, along with one of the new armies. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, yeah, that's going out.
Well, that's good to know for him, because he's about time he had another army. He's only got
yeah. But no, he's cool. Yeah, they're in their 4th edition. It's cool, and yeah, that's nice. So we last week, Dom and I mentioned that we were taking orders. The second round of t-shirts and dice and mugs and that, and it's been a lot. So thank you very much to everyone who ordered. Last week was half term and incredibly busy, so it took us a little while just to get back to people. So we are going to carry on taking orders until Friday the 14th of November. So not this Friday coming, but the Friday after. And at that point, we'll cut it off, and when we'll make the orders to the suppliers. When you send us an email to theplasticcrackpodcast@gmail.com, all you got to do in there is say what it is that you want, the size that you want, and the color that you want. And then one of us will get back to you and let you know how much that's going to be. And eventually Dom will get back to you with the boys saying,
give me the money.
And then we'll pay everything. Those people, because we did have quite a lot of people ask about the hoodies. So this is the hoodie. So this is what the hoodie looks like, with its nice blue sort of insides, although you can have pink as well if you want. So it's got the PCP logo on the front and then our To Hell and Crack on the back. Now the hoodies are £35, which is still bloody good, because there's very comfy hoodies. Very comfy hoodies. I did steal Haley's and try it on, and everything else is as priced here. So the t-shirts are £20, dice at £8, the mug is 10, and then you've got the various combinations there. Of course, this we will also have to add postage and packaging, which in the UK will probably be about £4, and overseas will be about between £4 and £8, depending on what it is you're ordering, because dice aren't going to cost as much to send as the mug and the t-shirt. The t-shirts can come with or without the text on them. The t-shirts look like this. The design has to stay on the front, but we can remove the text. So if you weren't at CrackCon, completely understand why you may not want that on the back. But this Helen Crack thing stays on the front. So you just have to let us know. The hoodies are only in black with the sort of blue inside or pink inside, and the t-shirts are available in black, olive, or like an off-white. And very nice they are as well. You'll have to take that one up with him direct, James. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I mean,
we don't get involved in the handling of hazardous material.
He needs one. For the bingo night.
Yes.
One for bingo night. The bingo master must also be partaking. I'd insist.
Get him pissed up too.
Absolutely. The bingo might run smoothly this year. Well, what he did last year, where he said, "Oh, I've actually been saving up, so there's now 5 that you've got to drink to."
Oh God.
But that's it. But yes, thank you very much. I got, again, just a big thank you, because obviously Dom made the donation last week. Only for lightweight 10%. And that's awesome. So £2,000.
Yeah, and we've had I've had several emails and contacts. In fact, I had a phone call from the charity, the brain tumor charity, to say thank you once again for all the money and what it'll be, how much good it will do to the charity. So kudos to everybody who donated and spent the money and what have you. As remember, it was £2,000, which is
nice, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, really good.
I mean, I knew him with the raffle at CrackCon. Just that the table was absolutely packed.
Probably groaning, wasn't it?
It really was. It was
to be honest, I think we could have just got people to buy tickets to watch Steve command those peasants in St Albans. There would be an audience, not an audience for that. The poor benighted bastards, the defenders of St Albans.
They I think it lasted a bit longer than Matt and Tony were expecting.
Yeah, well, I remembered that because I expected to see them sort of come to see the Lancastrians come surging down the high street, and they didn't. And there was I've got this picture of you just looking sort of concerned, and there was like this one plucky unit. And then I think the guys down my end of the table, handily called Sam and Dave versus Sam and Dave, were sort of, that's really good or really bad. And then in the next turn, all of a sudden, the peasants had disappeared, and there were just all these Northumberland banners coming down the when it went wrong spectacularly. I held them back for sort of 3 turns. I even drove Matt's archers back. We gave Steve the impossible job. You did as well. I heard you got Fitzhugh captured to be ransomed at a later date. But no, you did. I did feel bad because I did just kind of like grab you because it was like, Steve, here's some peasants. You like peasants and mud. Here you go.
It took the heavy cavalry. It took Matt's heavy cavalry to get rid of them. So they did. They didn't move. Didn't move much. They're like, we're protecting our market stalls here. Did quite well, and all of a sudden they were ridden down and smashed to pieces by the heavy cavalry. And that was the end of that flank.
Yes.
Tony kept saying to Matt, "Why are they still there? Why aren't they dead yet? Why?"
I like that. That Matt was Tony was Somerset, and he was the overall general for the Lancastrians, and his way of communicating with his supporters is very simply, why are they not dead? why are they still there? Make them die. That was it. Although he was having a big enough problem with the troops that had retreated into the church that he just could not remove.
Yeah, it got a bit gnarly around the middle.
So there we go. So thank you for taking part in a massive game, because I know that goes against every fibre of your being.
No, I didn't mind it because I didn't have to paint any of the figures, which is always good. But it was something different. It was really something different. I enjoyed. Like I say, I just floated around throughout the day. It was a really enjoyable day. My feet were gone by the end of it, though. Oh god, my feet.
You should have done what Ken did and buggered off 2 hours early.
I noticed that.
Yeah, don't worry, it got brought up last week.
And then we had fun and games trying to get back to the travel lodge with those overly enthusiastic blokes with cones, demanding to see hotel passes and all kinds. I got
a bit angry with one of them because I really needed the toilet. And he was saying, he's like, "Can you show me your parking permit?" I was like, "I don't have a parking permit." Well, how are you parking? I was like, I'm a customer. So in the end, I had to show him our key.
Yeah, but we did. Dom showed them his key card. It's like, all right, so you are staying in a hotel. Yeah, it's not something I'm going to lie about, mate. Staying in a hotel just so I can see.
Certainly not that bloody hotel. Jesus.
No. Like I said, I was more traumatized by hearing Mambo number 5 while I was getting ready to go downstairs. Before being charged £6.50 for a pint of Corona. Yeah.
In the travel lodge?
Yes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you did drink Corona, so you probably deserve that.
I know. It's the only one I had the entire weekend because I thought, I don't know, the bloke would have just let me in. Yeah, and then I proceeded to.
That's because was that James?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's because James looks like he could be staff. He's got that look. James doesn't look like he's going to start any issues.
No, that was interesting. Like, what this passes for local entertainment. Count me out. Cracking stuff. Right. I think we're going to discount the technology phase because I think we've already discussed that with AI and stuff like that. So the last part, and it's going to be an interesting one, is the wargaming community moving forward.
Oh god! I like you saved the best till last.
Because I think it is. It's just something that's going to keep. Cause again, I was thinking back to like 2000, and I'd stopped going to our local club because everyone had grown up and gone to uni or got jobs, discovered beer and metal, and everyone was doing, their own thing. I didn't really play in store. There was no, 2000. I didn't really have any internet forums to be part of. It was quite an insulated time for me as far as the hobby goes, because, like I said, very few of my friends were still within the hobby. We gamed very, very rarely. Then you fast forward now, and the sheer access of access to the community you've got through forums, social media pages, Facebook groups, YouTube, CrackCon. And for me, I think it's just gonna grow, and it's just gonna get better. Yeah.
I agree. As my youngest daughter says, it's the time of the nerds. At the moment, it's acceptable, or seems to be acceptable once again, to have a sort of slightly odd hobby or interest, or sort of things that people in the past, and we talked about it. I think everyone sort of talks about it a bit, about when they were younger, didn't really want to talk about the fact they loved playing with toy soldiers or what have you. I don't think that's the same anymore. And I think that, and that's great. I think people are much more willing to talk about it. I think it's definitely gone into the mainstream more. And things like YouTube and various podcasts and social media generally, I think it's just making it more accessible, more interesting to more people, which is great. Great. We don't have to hide anymore about what we do.
No, and again, going back to 2000, outside of sort of my immediate friends, nobody I worked with back then knew what I did. I didn't exactly volunteer the information. It just wasn't talked about. I just didn't feel comfortable in raising it. And then fast forward now, when I was at CrackCon, all my team knew where I was, what I was doing that weekend. Very supportive of it. Just a massive shift in the direction of the community.
Yeah, I think things definitely changed. One of the guys who works for me today was using one of our lights at work to photograph his bolt action army to sell on eBay. So I was showing him how to take a better photo. That would not have happened a few years ago.
Right. It is interesting, isn't it? Because I think we all had friends that sort of could easily have joined the ranks of Wargaming and gone on and had fun and done all that sort of thing, but for whatever reason didn't, because they didn't think it was cool enough or whatever, or just other things took over. But it feels like it is a much more acceptable thing for people to at least show an interest in and get involved in to some degree. And I think that's great. I really do.
Yeah, I think it's Steph as well. Yeah. The older you are, you don't really care what other people think.
No, when we get to our age, certainly my age, I don't give a toss anymore. But the sort of when you were younger, you did, didn't you? But
then also part of that, I think the community is slightly larger now for historicals, certainly. There are games that are more sort of entry level friendly, and let's face it, don't give off the same vibes as some of the old ones, to get people interested. And that's just a fact, and I think that's only a good thing. Show other ways to game, that you haven't got to worry about balance, things like that, and it can be stuff.
He's back on his balance thing again. Listen to him.
Someone mentioned balance earlier, and I kept quiet. So I think I'm doing better. But no, I think you're right. That's one of the things that's going to keep going.
Yeah. Do you think? I don't know. Will that have an effect? I mean, it's got to have an effect on the rules and the figures and sort of the cheapness of the. I was thinking back to the other day because a lot of us when we started out, we had access to relatively cheap Airfix figures. They weren't particularly fantastic. Were pretty damn hard to paint and what have you. But I know they're still around to some degree, but it's a lot harder to get hold of them. You used to pretty much every high street have a shop that would sell them. Do you think that as younger people get involved in the hobby, they're not going to have access to 3D printing? They're not going to have the money to buy metal or resin figures sent to them. So why do they find that itch that we used to get with Airfix? Do you think there'll be a new wave of that sort of cheap figures that come out that could help them?
Well, I mean, GW does it with their starter sets and their magazines.
True.
They do those build and up. We talked about this a couple of years ago, and I'm still convinced that Warlord, as much as I don't particularly want to play bolt action or anything like that, they could do a monthly magazine and build up some armies. They've got enough kits to do it. And then with the backing of Hornby, I'm sure they could do something. But GW gets you in with it, and it does work out well, those kits, and then that's all they need, and then they tie people into subscriptions because everyone likes a subscription these days. I think that's the way forward. But then also their GW, as much as we sort of laugh about them or make light of their situation, they do release like the big box games that are like 150 quid, but like you can go into Games Workshop, spend 20 quid on an introduction, like a basic beginner's set for Age of Sigmar. It gives you like 10 models, 5 aside, and and the basic rules, which are still free online. People go on about this, but Age of Sigmar is and I had to check about 40k, but I know the full rule book, the big chunky 250 page rule, you can just download that off the GW website. It's not, which I don't think they get enough credit for, to be honest. Everyone sort of like shouts about everyone else making rules free. They've got free rules. They've got expensive models, but they've got free rules. It's just that they make the books are quite nice. Maybe we could see some stuff like that from people like Warlord.
That would be good,
especially with especially now they've got Conflict, which they're putting forward as their 40k killer. I don't know if anyone else would be able to do it. Maybe Wargames Atlantic. Maybe they could put something that's more of a general, but I don't think anyone has like a big enough game yet.
No.
Other than bolt action would do it.
No.
That'll be an interesting step to take for Warlord, though, just to see that being done. I'd be really quite interested in seeing something like that. Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, anything that makes it easy for people to get into, youngsters particularly, get into the hobby, or people who haven't been, don't have a big brother or an uncle that will help them with a collection, or a dad or what have you will help them with a collection, to sort of get them into the hobby in an affordable way. It's got to be a good thing.
Board games are one of the main routes in, aren't they?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. In fact, that's what I for Christmas and birthdays, my brother and my nephew. So I got my brother Hero Quest a couple of years back, and then last year I bought him Zombicide for Christmas. So I know he's not a war gamer, but he does enjoy sort of those types of board games. And so it's just a good way, because he's not a war gamer, but he likes rolling dice and he likes board games. And my nephew's 15 now, so he's well into that age. He loves Hero Quest, so it's looking good. Right, let's have a look at some starred comments from people in the chat tonight. So, Carl, the future of wargaming, more something I do not want to change. I do not want 3D printing to drive traditional figure manufacturers out of business. Yeah, understand that. One from Rob, I like this one. Games and tables will be holographic. Yeah, like on the Millennium Falcon. Yes, I'd love to. That'll be brilliant playing something like that. There's a good prediction from James. Every kick in the box over your fence will be an Olympic sport in 10 years' time. I have a special level of anger reserved for them. Remember when we were trying to get that box sent across to Don in the States a couple of years back?
Yeah.
I'm not joking. I reached levels of anger with them that I didn't think was possible. It was just I just lost it. I just completely lost it. The red mist descended. Benjamin, correct use of AI in Wargaming can really add something to the experience in the future, I believe, using AI for random events to influence the battle. Yes, we mentioned that before.
I think so too. Yeah, used in the right way, I think it could really be good.
So, Dignity 50, I'm waiting for a 3D printed time machine to clear my pile of shame. At my current rate, I'll finish at age 138.
Everyone needs an ambition. Anyway, it's not a pile of shame, it's a pile of opportunity.
Opportunity is what it is. It's not shame.
Opportunity.
Opportunity. Robin wants his figures delivered before I've even thought about it, and he can bill him later.
That is dangerous. You do not want that. I don't want that.
No. Well, from Benjamin, not so distant future, we'll see companies using AI technology to offer cheap, free, specially sculpted miniatures to your own specifications. Don't Hero Forge do that? Isn't that? Remember we had those ones?
Yeah, they do.
3D printed a couple of years back.
Yeah.
You did have to sculpt. Yeah, but you had to sculpt a big cod piece on mine using milliput. So there we go.
I do think personalized figures in some way, kind of getting your own specification is definitely something we'll see a lot more of.
Absolutely.
A lot more of moving forward.
Ben's put AI written rules. I think that's inevitable. That is.
No, we got a new name. I'm sorry, I got to interrupt. Pile of Shame, the Horde of Glory.
Horde of Glory.
Horde of Glory. Bravo.
That's fantastic.
We haven't had this for a while, but we'll do it. There you go.
Well done.
Hey.
Well done.
Well done.
The Horde of Glory.
Horde of Glory. That is it from now.
Oh my God. Martin, so maybe ready painted figures may become more common.
Yeah. I think that's going to happen.
You reckon?
Yeah, I do.
I think it will happen. I don't think they'll ever replace, something painted by your own fair hand. I don't think I could use figures that had been pre-painted. I mean, I know X-Wing's different, but if someone
maybe all undercoated and
pre-primed or based or something.
Yeah, is it? But maybe even more than just a primer. You might just have a decent flesh on the face, brown, whatever armor. If stuff came pre-primed chainmail, that would be amazing.
Oh God,
pre-primed chainmail would be amazing. That would be a godsend, especially.
But it's not far off printers doing this, is it? I mean, there's already color printing, so that will individually print. So I think this is not far away, and I think there'll be a ready market of people who'd be quite happy. Imagine if you went to Warlords and you bought your Hail Caesar. Whatever they're doing, their epic, I don't know what they'll be doing by then, 100 Years War, and you could get both sides, instead of being red and blue, they were actually sort of coloured to the right sort of, look roughly right. And all you need to do is take them out of the box, pop them onto their sprues and play a game. That would be perfect for a lot of players. And those who really wanted to work at it could do a lot more to it if they wanted to.
Steve, who does he sound like? When a few years ago he would have been like, it just sounds like Ken.
Yeah,
it genuinely does. It's like we're having with Ken.
How dare you?
So Kurt's point might come down to miniature production costs. If plastic becomes too expensive, there might be a move to PVC or resin.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I wonder whether the whole kind of need to be a bit more environmentally friendly will impact the what our figures are made from.
Possibly.
Wastage on sprues and that sort of thing.
Possibly. James Moore, very specific plastic sets and in-house production reduces the overheads, like Wargaming Atlantic and Archon Studio. I like this one. Get yourself scanned and printed as a historical figure.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
One day I will be a Landsknecht. Dom Martin says, so paint options, maybe you can set the base colours for the miniatures near I've base coated. There we go.
I think that's definitely coming. Definitely coming.
So old school FP, Old Glory 28mm are cast at orders now. At least my huge order a couple of months ago was.
Yeah, I think they are notorious, aren't they, for having they keep a reasonable stock of certain ranges, but other things they get produced specifically, and that makes a lot of sense.
So Ewok Kebab, let's see a more historical, slightly cheaper iteration of Hero Forge, designed. That could be a thing. We're talking about rulebooks. So James, like the Battle Group model, limited hardback special and print on demand, no PDF.
Personally, I'm going to be lost when that happens. I can't find digital.
A lot of my rulebooks recently have been digital. I just download them as ebooks onto my Kindle.
I read ebooks all the time. I'm quite happy with that, but just there's something about a rule book. A, I love the smell. I mean,
I know there is the smell.
But B, just for something, it doesn't sort of go in properly for me.
No, I know what you mean. Chain of Command, one of my favorite skirmish games, is 1 hour skirmish rules. Does exactly what it says on the tin. You can't argue with that.
Yep.
Old school FFP, again, streamlined and dumbed down are very different things. I expect modern rules to be well edited and play tested, play smoothly without unnecessary turn phases or redundant dice rolling. Play testing is you'd like that to be done, wouldn't you? So Target, Barnes and Noble in the US carry specific GW and BattleTech stuff exclusive to the stores over there. That's interesting. Got BattleTech being sold.
That's very good, isn't it? I mean, that's giving accessibility to the hobby. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, and James, but Lidl's Airfix kits. I can see Warlord having bolt action sets in there one day.
Yeah, definitely.
I remember sort of in the late 90s when Games Workshop products started appearing in independent retailers. Because the town I grew up in, we had a shop which is called the Hobby Shop. And it started off as like a scale model place that sold that. And then one day they had like two there was Chaos Space Marines and normal Space Marines, which did stock as 2 boxes. And then every time I went in, the range got bigger and bigger and bigger. In fact, I used to go to get all my, in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, all my GW stuff was got from there. It was quite discounted as well. Got one of the big starter boxes from there as well. So brilliant. Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good chat. Yes. So
many moons ago, Ken confidently proclaimed miniatures will be made of bamboo. Yeah, well, it's Ken for you.
Had he just recently purchased stocks in a bamboo plantation? Because that would obviously make sense.
Absolutely.
If there was a profit to be had from it. Okay, let's have a look before we finish at what people have been posting up in the Facebook group. So, as always, there's a link to the Facebook group down below. Answer Dom's questions 3 and you'll be admitted. And again, just a reminder, if you invite someone, it's going to get rejected because they don't get asked the questions. So if you've got a friend or a wargaming chum that wants to join the group, just get them to join. Don't invite them, because if me and Martin let him in, Dom beats us severely. So
he passed us. We get admonished.
Yeah.
Right, so let's start off with some. James of Midgard fame has been working on some more 10mm fantasy stuff. 10mm giant, look at that.
It's 10mm giant. It's like 32mm.
Yeah, so it's a massive figure, but for scale,
that's brilliant. I love that. That's figure.
Brilliant. It's cool.
Absolutely fantastic. Really good. And I think he's been using those in conjunction with the Wargames Atlantic plastic orcs.
And dwarves. He put up a little painting guide about dwarves as well.
Don has been making a start on his British infantry. I love the colour scheme on these, Don. You've actually nailed that. Cool. That is so good.
Wrong green.
So I feel like someone's getting their own back.
DJ has been working on some French Napoleonic line infantry.
Oh, very nice. They look like front rank figures. Those very nice.
And a drummer in sight. No, they look really nice. That white's really crisp and clean. Very nice. Now I like this. This is from Jamie. This. Well, I'll just put it up because I've got it.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh my goodness.
So this is a Knight's Herald. He's a bit Landsknecht-y and he's a bit demony, and I don't know what it is, but it's a fantastic miniature. I absolutely love that. That is so cool.
Wow. Oops.
Is that weird enough for you, Dom?
I mean, it's getting there.
So Martin's been doing some more work on his Frostgrave collections. This is the Frostgrave Ghoul.
Blimey.
That is so cool. The flesh tones on that are awesome.
That was a good representation of how I looked on the Monday after CrackCon. Dragging myself out of bed. This is brilliant. So Chris that's been working on Fulgrim.
Oh no! Oh yes, no, I really like this.
That is cool.
That's very cool.
You know Fulgrim, don't you, Dom?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's
that's very nice.
Yeah. It's on top of my tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
that's what Fulgrim would say.
Yeah. So Matt's been working on some Chevaux Lancers or Chevaux Leger Lancers.
Very nice.
I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not down with the lingo,
Very
but
good
they're very
indeed.
nice. Again, really crisp whites and yellows. God, two of my least favorite colors to paint, but yeah, fantastic work on those. And other Matt has been working on some early Saxons.
Very cool.
They're nice, really nice.
Oh yeah, Victrix, very nice.
Yeah,
very nice.
Lovely stuff. Back to World War II with Noosphere Studio. Couple of 15mm SU-122s. He did say everyone can relax. They will be getting based.
Good. Good. It's obviously work in progress. That's
it clearly is a work in progress. The base around it, but I really love the dusty weathering on the tracks. It really does add to it.
Very good.
Are they Battlefront? I don't know. If you're watching, what's the manufacturer? Okay, more weirdness from Philip. This is a Greater War Beast.
Yay! He looks fun.
He
looks fun. That's very cool. I know what it is. Very cool.
I've got no idea, but it was burrowing as well, so I don't know.
I'm sure I had an ex-girlfriend a bit like
that. Simon has been working on some classical Greek cavalry. I think these are 15mm.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
If you check out Simon's post, there's a picture of them all in, and there's loads of them, and it looks really spectacular. But they are really, really nice.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And I think the last one is Stephen, who's been working on some light halfling cavalry.
Oh, I saw these. These were awesome. And these were prints from Wargames Atlantic. And then he's using for a Midgard army, which is what I want to do with my halflings. So I've got my Paul Hicks halflings.
Oh, yeah.
And I was planning on having them as the front rankers and maybe using the Wargames Atlantic ones sort of like, just behind to fill out the rear ranks and get like a phalanx of halflings. Just another one of the projects that I've got to get on with.
No, they're brilliant. Again, big massive thank you to everyone that posts up in the Facebook group. I always appreciate seeing what people are working on, what games they're playing, what projects they've started. how many wallets we've caused to be opened.
Yeah.
Following every podcast. Our name is Mud. I can imagine to many people. But there we go. We're officially on overtime. It's 1 minute past 10, and my voice is slowly giving out.
You've done so well.
You held up very well, mate. You really did.
I know. One cup of tea as well, so I did quite well. We will be back next week on whose channel are we on?
With me. It's with me next week, and the topic for people to mull over is going to be generals behaving badly. So you can take that how you will. I'll put up details in the Facebook group as we approach today.
Brilliant. So keep a lookout on the Facebook group for that. Like I say, if you are a member of the Facebook group, keep posting your project updates. Link below to all our channels. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all the good stuff. And don't forget to check out Boards and Swords. Use the code PCP5 when you're checking out for additional 5% off your order. And to top it off, a big thank you to everyone that's watching on the catch-up. Right, I'm off to drink more tea. I'm going to have a proper lie down. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Stay safe, take care, and we shall see you all next Monday. See you, everybody.
See you later. Bye-bye.